Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the channel. Thanks for being here with me this morning. Today, we're going to be talking about some new changes coming to America, interesting stuff that's being suggested, and we'll take a deeper dive into it to see what's going on. Thank you very much and enjoy the episode. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, things are getting out of whack in the free world we're currently living in. So, today, we're going to only cover one story. The Trump administration will set price floors across a range of industries in America. Sounds innocent, sounds like times you need it, but we'll go a bit deeper into it to show you why this is really a bad thing and it should not be done. Okay, the article that we're going to look at is from the 15th of October and it was by CNBC. So they had a interview with Scott Bessent. This is what he had to say. Let's check it out. The Trump administration will set price floors across a range of industries to combat market manipulation by China, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent told CNBC in an exclusive interview Wednesday. China has driven foreign competitors in the rare earth industry out of business over the past 2 decades by using its global dominance in refining and processing to slash prices, Bessent said. When you are facing a non-market economy like China, then you have to exercise industrial policy, Bessent told Sarah Eisen at CNBC. Okay, let's read that again, but we'll just remove the fancy wordplay meant to confuse people and use the actual right words. When you are facing a centrally planned economy like China, then you have to exercise central planning, Bessent told Sarah Eisen at CNBC Invest. Okay, so why is this so concerning to us, ladies and gentlemen? First up, the USA is a market economy. That's what it advertises itself at, a free market economy. Eh? So whereas China is the opposite, it's a centrally planned economy. The government takes control of all of the resources, they set the prices, the floors, the ceilings, they work with distribution and control the whole chain of supply and demand by the government. And it's the main difference between a capitalist economy and a centrally planned economy, which we'll find in many countries like China and authoritarian governments. Okay, let's check out a clip of Scott Bessent confirming that the Trump administration is planning on introducing price controls to a large variety of US businesses.
The other big change on industrial policy from the administration has been around taking stakes in companies, private companies that you guys deem strategic and important for the U.S. I think there have been 5 now. Are there going to be more of those?
I wouldn't be surprised because, again, many of these, when we get an announcement like this week with China on the rare earths, you realize we have to be self-sufficient or we have to be sufficient with our allies. So when you are facing a non-market economy like China, then you have to exercise industrial policy. So on rare earths, for 20 years, anytime, rare earths are not rare. What is rare is the processing and refining.
Which China dominates.
I think they have 70% of the mining, but 95% of the processing and refining. And for 20 years, anytime anyone in a market-based economy stood up a processor or refiner, China came in, cut price, and put them out of business. So we're going to set price floors and the forward buying to make sure that this doesn't happen again. And we're going to do it across a range of industries.
Okay, now that we've seen what the Trump administration is planning, let's take a quick look at this summary of price floors and what it's for. In economics, price controls are government-mandated limits, price ceilings or floors, on the prices of goods and services. While central planning is a system where a central authority makes all economic decisions, including setting those prices, central planning dictates production, distribution, and pricing, contrasting with market economies, where supply and demand set prices. Therefore, price controls are a key tool within a central planning system to manage an economy. Price controls. Definition: restrictions on the prices of goods and services imposed by a government. Types: price ceilings, a maximum price that can be charged for a good or service, often used to make essentials like food or rent more affordable. Price floors, a maximum price that can be charged, like minimum wage. Purpose: to make goods affordable, curb inflation, promote economic stability, or support specific industries. Potential outcomes can lead to unintended consequences such as shortages, black markets, or reduced quality over the long term. Central planning. Definition: an economic system where a central government makes all economic decisions regarding production, distribution, and pricing. Now that we've read that, let me talk about my key concerns. I'm going to read this line to you again. Central planning dictates production, distribution, and pricing, contrasting with market economies where supply and demand set prices. So, the key pillar that keeps capitalism is that supply and demand set prices for goods and services. And it contrasts with the Chinese government, that's a communist government where the government owns businesses and they can tell businesses who they're allowed to sell to, how much, and for how much they're allowed to sell to. And in China's case, they recently used this to strain the American rare earth supply chains. They basically told their whole government, every single business in China is a part of the government at some degree, and they just said, you're not allowed to take orders from America to sell to them while we are in this trade war. And that made a lot of problems for the US government, for Donald Trump. And yes, that is why they're looking at it. So what's their plan? How are we going to fight this communist market? We're going to become communists ourselves. We're going to use the same tools they use to control more of American businesses. And yes, the American dream's busy dying. So that's one of my first big concerns about this. Yeah, and guys, this rule, there's always a good cause for bringing these things in, eh? If you can go look at all of the last wars in the last 30 years, eh? Go look at who started, who was involved in those wars, eh? Decide for yourself who you think started them, and then just ask yourself, there's always a good cause. If you see a good cause, go look for something in the background. So yeah, I don't believe this is a good thing. I believe 20 years from now, a lot of people in America is going to regret it. And I do believe we see the society becoming more and more and more like the Chinese economy. We got to find a better way to win, guys. We can't become like the ones we're fighting in order to defeat them. That defeats the whole purpose. But yeah, that's my thoughts on this. Okay, guys, that's gonna be it for this one. Thank you very much for being here with me. If you make it to the end, please leave a like, please subscribe. It goes far away. Channel is new. Please check out the journey with me if you found what I said interesting. And yeah, enjoy your day, guys.